Hello. So I want to talk about one of the first experiences I had when I came to China. Literally, when I first got off the train. Basically, before I came to China, I had been traveling for 6 months all over Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. So I was pretty much acclimatized to Asia, and I was happy to get into China. A lot of Southeast Asia, it's great, it's beautiful, but you're constantly a tourist there. Everywhere you go, people are just trying to sell you sunglasses, flip-flops, and everybody's on the same sort of wavelength, and it's just nice to get back to like real life. Like in China, you don't really get treated as a tourist. There's not that sort of tourist vibe going on here. They just have different things happening. So yeah. But anyway, I just got a night train from Hanoi to Nanning, and so I was quite tired. I was all on my own. I'd done all the travelling on my own, and so I think we arrived about 7:30 in the morning, and I checked my phone, and I had a hotel booked, and it was about 2 kilometers away. So at this point, I was used to walking with my big bag just to save money on my travel. So I thought, especially when you're in a new country, you don't really know how it works with taxis. Are they going to rip you off? How much you should get charged for a taxi? You don't really know where you're going in the new city, so you don't know how safe it is, and until you can get your head around how it works in each country, it might be a good idea just to, if you can, just walk 1.5 kilometers. I'm not trying to fearmonger, do what you want, but that's what I thought anyway. So yeah, I was walking to my hotel. This story, you can take it as funny, or you can take it as sad, or you can take it however you want. So yeah, anyway, I was walking to my hotel. Let me explain. Nanning's it's a city of about 4 million people, I think it is, which is, in England that would be considered a big city, a major city. I can't think how many people Cambridge has in, but that's still a lot of people. But in China, that is considered a small city. I mean, I live in Shanghai. The rough estimate is that there's 25 million people here, but nobody really knows, But Shanghai is such a huge city, it doesn't get massively busy unless you're in the centre at rush hour or anything like that. It's really not too bad because it's such a huge city anyway. So yeah, but Shanghai, it's full of foreigners, and Nanning, there's not really that many foreigners. Like, now I live in Shanghai and I know how fewer foreigners there are in Nanning. This whole story I'm about to tell you comes as more of a shock to me. So yeah, not many tourists go or live in these areas in the southern, obviously Shenzhen and Guangzhou and places like that. There's lots of foreigners, but the smaller cities of 3 million, you probably get the odd foreigner there. I'm sure there are some foreigners living in Nanning, but they don't see them very often, as I can explain, as I can prove later on. So yeah, I was walking to the hotel from the train, and I was just minding my own business, checking the map, and out of nowhere, this white guy, he came up to me, and he said, "Do you speak English?" So I said yes. And he said, "Oh, can I walk with you for a bit?" So I said, I was like, that sounds strange, but I was like, yeah, why not? Whatever, what's wrong? What's happening? I just came from a really touristy Southeast Asia. I was thinking, why does this guy need me to help him? Why is he doing this? So he just started walking with me, and he said, "Oh, I've just like I said, I've just literally got off the train, my first 20 minutes in China," and he was saying, "Oh, I've just told my Chinese wife for 5 years I want a divorce. and she's not very happy about it. She's called her gangster family, and they're gonna come and kill me, and unless I give them lots of money, and blah 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 blah. And this guy was probably about 60 years old. He's a French Canadian guy. He sort of spoke sort of alright English, but I speak French anyway, so it's not a big problem. So yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, sure, just walk with me. And you know, as we were walking, his wife walked out of the hotel, and she just saw me, and she was like, oh, another foreigner, and she just sort of walked away. And then me and him, we just sort of walked down the road, and we went to a McDonald's and just sat in a McDonald's, you know, walked around a few corners and sort of got away from the hotel. And and so yeah, we were hiding out in this McDonald's, and you know, just trying to get away from his wife. And he explained how he met her online, and he didn't speak any Chinese, and she didn't speak any English or French or anything. They had no way of communicating. So just, I don't know, it just made me think it's a bit of a, you know, do you marry someone you can't communicate with? And he was saying that they've been married for 5 years, and you know, she kept saying, oh, you need to buy me a house, you need to build my family a house, and blah 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 blah. It just seemed like a really, you know, everyone's, you know, true love or whatever, but it seemed like a really weird situation to be in. You know, I don't think I'd ever marry anyone I couldn't converse with on the most basic of levels. And so yeah, anyway, so eventually, you know, he I tell him, you know, I've just been on a night train, I need to go to my hotel and just relax and get away and sleep and things like that, because I've, you know, just need to relax basically. So we took each other's emails, and I went to my hotel, and that was it basically. That was a story, you know. I just thought it was a funny story for a first experience going into a new country. You know, 20 minutes being in the country, you get somebody coming up to you with a story like that. It's quite a eye-opener. I haven't really had or seen any other stories like that, you know, but it just shows, I don't know what it shows, but I just thought it was a good story anyway. But yeah, anyway, Nanning, I really like Nanning, really nice. They call it the forest city or the green city, I think, and it is really green. There's lots of plants everywhere, trees everywhere. They put a lot of money and work into making it nice and green, and you know, the climate's really nice down there. I imagine if I was living in Nanning right now, I wouldn't be wearing a woolly hat and a big jacket and a scarf and 2 pairs of trousers to keep warm. I'd probably be wearing maybe shorts and t-shirts even now. But yeah, not many foreigners there. I did meet another foreigner, I can't remember where I met him, and a Canadian guy, and we were having street food, and there were people just walking by, either hiding or pretending that they weren't taking photos of us, or just standing 2 foot away from us, just taking photos of us and talking about us. And yeah, that was quite strange. You know, you'd never get that happening in Shanghai. You know, there's so many foreigners everywhere that they just sort of don't really, you know, some people might stare at you, but it's not a major issue. Unlike in those places where they rarely see foreigners and they want to take photos with you, take photos of you. I went to a nightclub in Nanning, and everybody wants to buy you drinks and talk to you, and put onto WeChat that, oh look, I'm with a foreigner, which is quite funny, but good for the foreigner. If you don't want to pay for drinks all night, you can just go to one of these clubs and be friendly, and they will just buy you drinks all night. You know, you can just go from group to group, just talking, saying hello, and they'll say, oh, sit down. Then you can have free drinks, and then when the conversation's dried up, you can just go to the next table and just do the same again, and you can basically drink for free. I've done that a couple of times. I suppose it's a price they pay for, I don't know, just for pointing, you know, if they wanna sit there with the foreigner, and I don't know, that sounds really bad, but I don't mean it in that way, you know. It's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. But yeah, you can get free drinks if you just be polite and say hello and sit with them and talk with them. Maybe not in as much in Shanghai, they probably wouldn't care. They might tell you to go away, like, we don't care if you're a foreigner. It'd be quite funny if you tried to do that. Yeah, anyway, that was my first story of China. That was my first experience in China, which was a bit of a strange one. It hasn't really made me think bad things about China. You know, people tell you certain things, and unless you really experience it for yourself, you know, it's the same in any country. You just have to keep your head screwed on, and you know, you don't walk around England doing stupid things, so I can't see why you do it in China and expect things to be any different. Bad things will happen if you go around doing stupid things, so it's just common sense anywhere in the world. So yeah, that's my first story. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just near my school where I work. Yeah, okay, goodbye.